Hello, my name is Michael Farina, and this is a video of Michael Farina's promises to Cranston. This is our video on infrastructure. Infrastructure is super important to our city. Infrastructure comprises how we get around from place to place, how we go from point A to point B, and it really does help keep a vibrant economy to have a good, strong infrastructure. And we use that word a lot, but it really means the condition of our roads, our sidewalks, our city buildings, our parks, how we remove snow, how we really do all the things that make it easier to travel around the city of Cranston. As your council president, I have worked hard to ensure that we always do things in a proper and effective manner. We've really supported ideas to fund the 50-50 cost share sidewalk program. We've worked to bond for additional funds to pave more roads and streets, fix sidewalks. We've worked to add different apparatus to our school buildings, like sprinkler systems and new solar arrays on top of Cranston West. We do this in an effective way, trying to limit expenses, because realistically, fixing a lot of those things is expensive. We look at the work we did in Eden Park School to update the building to create a 21st century learning environment. That cost the city almost $9 million. Small project, only half the school, so we have to be careful how we spend these funds. We bonded for $20 million in additional funds to pave more roads. It got a lot of roads done, but there's still a lot more we have to do. We always work to add traffic signals, traffic lights, street signs, roadway signs. The goal is to ensure that people can travel safely from point A to point B. Good roads help kids get to school in a safe, effective way, and they really help us drive the economy. As your mayor, I will always look to be a leader in how we manage and fix our infrastructure. More importantly, how we fix our roads and streets. But coming out of a COVID crisis, where we're going to have a budget struggle and potentially a $10 million structural deficit in the current budget and unknown deficits as the state does their budget, we're going to need a mayor with a keen financial insight who understands that there's not a money tree out behind our house. We need to do things as frugally as possible. We need to do more with less. We can't just hire expensive consultants to tell us what needs to be done. We need a leader who has those skills and abilities inherent in them to get the job done. And as a senior leader in a Fortune 5 company and working for years as a council president, sitting on many boards and commissions and being on the board of directors for a small company, I have those experiences that will benefit Cranston in the long run. As your mayor, I will look to pave more roads and streets. I will look to do these things in an effective way, as I said, but coming out of a COVID crisis, we're gonna have to look at our priorities a little differently. We're gonna have to focus on the things that need to happen and need to happen now. We're gonna need to work in our schools to update ventilation. We're gonna need to understand what has to be removed from those schools due to COVID. We're going to have to do the same thing for our city buildings and ensure that ventilation is acceptable in a post-COVID environment, so airflow is good, so we don't have any issues coming out of the spread of this disease. We're going to have to look at our areas of infrastructure around our buildings to make sure the roads are paved and fixed in a way that ambulatory care can get around. So those are things we're going to have to focus on first. But there are things we can do that don't cost us any money. Things that I plan to do as mayor to ensure that we're doing the right job at holding our vendors accountable. I look at snow removal. I think we do an okay job with snow removal, but I'd like to see more accountability in our vendors. You know, we have a lot of third-party vendors we hire, and we pay them a significant amount of money. And when you look at the snow removal job they do, I don't think the city holds them accountable enough. I think we need to make sure they're going curb to curb on snow. They're helping ensure that the mains are just as good as the side streets. Because in some cases you see the side streets are terrible, yet the main roads are great. You know, I look at when I go to Ward 2, which is over by Eden Park School, those neighborhoods that are older and more developed where the houses are closer together, some of those side streets don't get touched. And if they do get touched, it's one lane down the middle. So as mayor, I would ensure that we held those vendors to a higher standard. You know, as we come out of COVID, there are things I'm going to want to do in the future years as mayor. I'm going to want to make sure we continue to turf the fields at different schools. I would love to see a baseball field with some turf on it. I would look to improve the hockey rink. I think we have a great jewel there in the hockey rink. There's not a lot of municipal hockey rinks left in the state. I would look to improve that hockey rink. I would look to continue to fix school buildings, continue to work to update City Hall, and do all the things that need to be done to ensure that we are ADA compliant in all our buildings. But coming out of COVID, those are going to be things that we do secondarily because we're going to want to focus on the things that need to happen in short order. As your mayor, I'll make sure I spend every dollar the most effective way possible and stretch every penny and do more with less. I think these are the keys you need to think about when you're trying to decide who to elect for mayor in the September 8th primary. I'm not going to waste your money. I'm not going to take chances with your money. I'm going to do the right things with your money. I will be a steward for you and a steward for Cranston. Thank you for watching Farina's Promises to Cranston on Infrastructure. I do hope you will vote for me in the September 8th primary on the Republican ticket. For any information about me or more ideas about my infrastructure or other platforms that I have, please go to MikeFarina4Cranston.com. Thank you for watching, and again, vote Michael Farina in the September 8th primary.